It is orange and blue today. Cecil, Lammey, Andrew Mason, and we're in Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Virginia.
On the way back to Dulles, so I can go to Denver, and then you can go to New Jersey, Mace.
You're making your way west back home. I'm making my way north to go actually see the Broncos play the Jets on Sunday. What a long, strange trip it's been.
That's very true. What did we learn from this week? That's the topic of the show. Everything's wrapped up. An interesting day today with the rain kind of canceling outdoor practice, I guess we could say. So they move indoors to tennis courts or pickleball courts.
They're tennis and pickleball courts.
Okay.
I'm sure they used to be just tennis, but now pickleball is, I believe, the fastest growing sport in the United States.
Okay.
And so everyone wants to get in on that has like a racket club. So you see tennis clubs becoming tennis and pickleball clubs. And that's where they practice. They went to an indoor tennis and pickleball facility because, say this, like Sean Payton, he has talked multiple times about how involved he was with construction and design of the NFL training camp facility at the GreenBrier. There appears to be one major thing that is missing, and that is a viable indoor facility when the weather is inclement. And this week, the weather has been very much inclement. They were able to practice Thursday in the rain. Wednesday, there were some showers, but nothing really affected the practice. So they were on the grass field Wednesday. By the way, they did paint the Jets logo at midfield, just like they've been doing with logos of their opponents on the road back in Denver. So Wednesday on grass, Thursday on the turf field under some scattered showers. But I'm sure if you've been following the news, you've seen up and down the Appalachians, the effects of the remnants of Hurricane Helene, some devastating effects in other parts of the Appalachians. Not so bad where the Broncos trained this week, but bad enough to where practicing today wasn't going to happen. So I would say maybe like all the care that went into the design and the intent of this place, not having an indoor facility in a place that is prone to storms is kind of a big deal.
An oversight.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
But it's also the most expensive part of it. I mean, those indoor practice facilities aren't cheap. And it may want to be one of those things that is simply not cost effective for such an enterprise as exists with the NFL training facility at the GreenBrier.
My counter to that is 9 NFL teams have been here. They've made a lot of money.
Pitch in.
Yeah. You want to use it? Pitch in. It would be better. The sky's opened up.
Maybe what the NFL should do is just, with all of its money as a league, say this is going to be kind of our permanent, escape training facility for the rest of the league, and let's just build a field house.
Yeah,
that would have made things easier. I mean, it's now we'll get into this, and actually, let's play Sean Payton's comment about one of the reasons why they stayed out here, which is sleep. And sleep patterns and time zones and all that. Let's play that comment.
The week's the same. I think the objective is just avoiding all the experts sleep and avoiding the time zone change, back and forth. That's why we requested a couple games back to back.
So you stay on the East Coast. You don't go back to Mountain Time and then back to Eastern Time. Of course, again, he specifically requests the 2 East Coast games. So it's possible if there had not been a specific request, you wouldn't have had Tampa Bay and the Jets back-to-back. So it's almost like you requested the problem of the time of, you'd have to go back and forth time zones. And then you had the solution. Well, the solution is the GreenBrier, right?
Yes.
But if you hadn't requested that problem may not have existed to begin with.
Right.
You just would have had, you would have had 4 cross-country trips instead of 3 over the course of the season. They just might have been more spread out. So
okay. Well,
yeah, so there's that. I would say this, and I'll ask you this point blank, Cecil. What do you think is worse for preparation, getting ready for a game? Is it having to take your Friday practice and convert it to a walkthrough on tennis courts, or going back and forth across the country but having a regular Friday practice?
yeah, I think it's the tennis courts.
Even though you get you don't have the disruption of the sleep patterns with the time zones and all that.
Right. You're NFL players. You're going to be traveling. So, fly back to Denver, have a regular week of practice, fly to New Jersey, play the Jets.
Okay.
That would have been my answer, but it wasn't Sean's answer.
Yes. It wasn't Sean's answer, and here's what he talked about when he looks back at the week and what the Broncos got out of it.
We played that one. How about the indoor practice one? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Indoor practice. Here's what
fine.
Sean had to say.
Real quick, a little audible with practice. Everything went good. The facility's good. Got our work done. We'll leave here in about an hour and a half. Any questions?
When you have to change plans on the fly like this, you feel like
It's
it's
part of the deal. I kind of like it.
yeah,
Actually, yeah.
keep everybody on their toes.
Yeah, I think, it was good. I didn't realize they had this facility.
Did you consider practicing in the elements?
At first we did, and then the change was made relative to the lightning forecast.
If they had practiced outside in the rain, I know they're old school people like saying, oh, yeah, go ahead and do it. The thing you do worry about is ankle injuries, slipping on the field, even though it's turf. You worry about that. And that's why teams generally do not practice in the rain, even when there's lightning.
Right.
It's not so much, oh, you have to prepare for that. It's you don't want to increase the injury risk. And that's why you see teams go inside when they have the opportunity to, when the weather is inclement.
There has been some thunder that we heard when we were in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Didn't really think that was the case this morning when Sean said that.
Well, they have lightning detectors. I'm going to take him at his word on that. I'm okay with that.
I'll just say the skies opened up.
About 10 a.m. And this was the thing. Like, I will admit, I was looking ahead at the hour by hour weather forecast, and I thought, oh, it shouldn't be too bad before 10 a.m. And indeed, it was just some sprinkles, some light rain this morning when
that they could have practiced
woke up. Yesterday afternoon, I looked and saw that about 10, 11 a.m., the heavens were going to open up and a deluge was going to fall on that part of West Virginia. And so I did ask a couple of people, hey, might you guys move practice around? And, the word was no. So it was interesting. Like he talked about how it keeps everybody on their toes.
He actually liked it. He liked it. And you and I
Do you think he was saying that because he really liked it, or he was just trying to rationalize it?
I think it's a little bit of both, honestly, because he is old school. You and I have been, I'll bring up the 2010 Shrine game, correct me if I'm wrong, Orlando. Emmanuel Sanders was there. Clint Kubiak was there, coming out of CSU.
Yeah.
And there was a downpour in Orlando. They moved it inside to a ballroom. That was 2010 or 2011. And I remember talking to Dan Reeves and Wade Phillips, and they're like, yeah, we've done this before. So, yes.
Ballroom practices.
The ballroom practice.
They did convention center
yes.
ballroom practices at the Senior Bowl.
Parking garage at the Senior Bowl one time, which wasn't great, on concrete.
Well, the parking garage, a parking garage used to be an alternate practice facility for the Buccaneers at their old One Buck Place facility. As recently as 2009, if inclement weather prevented the Panthers from practicing on their fields because they didn't have an indoor facility, sometimes it involved a parking garage, sometimes it involved the convention center ballroom, occasionally it involved the club level at their stadium. For at least 1 week, it involved having 3 practices at an indoor soccer facility. The field was roughly the size of a hockey rink. That's just 15 years ago. So in other words, there's a time when this sort of thing was relatively normal around the NFL,
It happened.
but not so much. Now it's funny you mentioned like Shrine Game Senior Bowl practices. I think it was in 2020, a very rainy year in Mobile, and one of the days
Remember that little half
Opened up.
thing? Yeah.
the skies opened up, and they did one day in the
Little half dome thing.
it's basically a carport. It's
large
like
carport.
a huge covering over a field. That's their indoor facility at the University of South Alabama. So it's unusual, you deal, but yeah, I'll say it. I can't help but think, would it simply have been better to just have the practice back in Denver and not have to deal with it? Because I checked the weather app a little while ago and it was 82 degrees and sunshine. back
We
in
miss you,
Colorado.
Denver.
Have
Nice.
we haven't seen the sun
No,
since we got here.
no.
Literally, we have not seen the sun break through the clouds since we touched down on Tuesday.
And Dulles, right. Yep. So what do players think of this week? What did they take away from this week?
Which one do you want to start with?
Let's
PJ
start
or
with Quinn. Let's
Okay.
start with Quinn.
So Quinn Miners wanted to make the use of the Tuesday off day, little downtime,
Gonna have some fun.
by partaking in one of his favorite activities. He is a pretty good bowler. Does that not surprise you, by the way, dude from Wisconsin,
Right.
being into bowling? Like when you think of when the PBA was on ABC and Chris Schenkel was calling the action, it seemed like it was always something like the Milwaukee Open or the Sheboygan Open or whatever. Anyway. So, yeah, Quinn Miners into bowling. He wanted to partake of that activity at the bowling lanes at the Greenbrier. Just one problem.
I went to the bowling alley. I brought my own ball and shoes, but they didn't oil the lanes. So as soon as I threw the ball, it went straight to the gutter. And then when it came back from the return, had scratches on my ball and everything. But so I kind of stopped bowling and then went to the arcade.
You sound like a bowling expert. What do you usually bowl? What kind of scores?
My league average was 200 a year ago, so right around there.
Yeah, he's a good bowler.
Good bowler, but you have this elegant, fancy resort, and they don't oil the lanes at the bowling alley.
Scratch up your custom ball.
First of all, baller move, pun intended, for Quinn Miners, bringing his own bowling ball.
Serious.
Like that's a dude who's and his own bowling shoes. You know, no rental shoes for him. This is a man who is serious about his bowling, which is why he was ticked off. I'm sure he was expecting more from a 5-star resort.
Right. And then there's PJ Locke, who just briefly brought up when I asked him about, your camaraderie in the secondary, and he talked about kind of this week. Part of Sean's plan, I think, was the getaway. You get away
Bond,
and you have
shared moments.
PJ Locke talked about that and other things.
I mean, that's what we do, man. I think what it does with that type of thing, man, it starts off the field, the chemistry off the field, man. Even spending time, even here, man. Like, although you look at the place and you just like, but I mean, we spent a lot of time together, so I think it's gonna carry over into the game, and that's what it is. Been excited for other people playing plays too.
It was kind of the reaction, the place. Yeah.
It was a week.
There was some bonding.
It was in West Virginia.
I think it's fair to say that maybe there's some wondering about, was the juice worth the squeeze on this? We'll find out Sunday.
Big expenditure, for sure.
Yeah. Look, the Broncos go on the field in New Jersey Sunday and win. They may do this every year.
This is the sauce.
Yes. If they go out there in New Jersey and lay an egg, and it's possible. This is a very good Jets team that put it this way. They're 2-1. They lost the 49ers. I think if they had a rematch today, the Jets would probably win.
Yeah.
The way they're looking. Nathaniel Hackett has got to be swimming in joy right now because his team has scored 3 touchdowns in every game, a figure that seemed unattainable when he was calling plays for the Broncos, except for that one game against the Jaguars in London. So the Jets are feeling their oats. The Broncos are headed up to New Jersey to see if they can deal them a surprise. But if they don't play well, there'll be some questions asked within the building. By the way, the sun, we just saw the sun.
First time.
It just broke through.
Since Tuesday.
We've been in this part of the country now for 74 hours, and we finally saw the sun. And, it's going back behind the clouds.
And it's gone.
Yeah,
I was going to say.
It's about to, it just broke through, and now it's going
And it's gone. How are they going to replace Alex Singleton? You want to play Riley Moss first before we do the green dot thing?
Yes.
Green dot thing was a thing. But Riley Moss first talked about, love this backdrop, by the way. Riley Moss.
To see the rain.
Playing really good football. Oh, my God. Outstanding football from this young man. He talked about replacing Alex Singleton.
Yeah, it's going to have to be everyone. It's a collective effort, and that, that's a good thing for us. Obviously it sucks that Alex got hurt, but as a defensive unit, it'll be good for us to be able to kind of grow in that aspect, and having DBs and linebackers and some of the D line talking and giving calls. So
it takes a village to replace Alex Singleton because you're replacing Alex Singleton, the leading tackler the last couple of years. Alex Singleton, the team captain and vocal leader. And then Alex Singleton, the defensive play call relay person, because he has the green dot on his helmet with the radio receiver. So VJ's calls come in, he shares them with the rest of the defense. So it's not just you plug someone in to replace him.
Right.
It's more than that.
Yes.
Now, the leadership, the vocal leadership, that's probably going to come from a lot of different corners of that defense, and hopefully you'll see players emerge. I always say nature abhors a vacuum. It abhors a vacuum of leadership. Other voices will step in time. As far as actually filling the role, I think we'll probably see some looks for Christian Welch and perhaps Justin Sternad on Sunday. But you want to get Quan Alexander and Zach Cunningham up to speed to see what they've got. They may be more the longer-term replacements over the course of the year.
Right.
The green dot, that's clear. That's going to be Cody Barton. And it was interesting that Sean Payton wouldn't say who was wearing the green dot, and then Cody Barton, not more than 10 minutes later, offered up the information on his own that he had the green dot. So what is essential for wearing that green dot? You asked Sean Payton this. He gave a very brief but clear answer.
Don't blink. You'll miss it.
Yeah, just someone who knows the defense and can communicate it clearly.
So someone who knows the defense, well, again, that probably prevents it from being Zach Cunningham, Quan Alexander,
Right.
or even Christian Welch coming in after the cut to 53.
Right.
Cody Barton and Justin Sternad are the ones who've been around longest. And basically, Sternad, we've touched on this. He hasn't played a defensive snap since back in the 2021 season. Cody Barton is the logical choice, I think, to have the green dot.
Yeah. So coach all clandestine, and then like 5 seconds later,
I'm
had the answer.
sure Sean was thrilled about that.
Oh, of course he was. Because I intentionally asked the question so that if he wanted to offer it, we never know what kind of mood Sean's going to be in. So I asked it in a way that if he wanted to offer it, he would. But, they need to answer what kind of skill you needed for the green dot.
See,
Cody Barton has the skill.
The mood he was in there was get out of the tennis pickleball facility, get on the buses, get to the airport. That was his mood.
Yeah. What kind of mood are you in as we wrap up today's show? It's a Friday, Mace. We're in Harrisonburg. We're going to go have some burgers, right? We're going to the burger joint, right?
I think we're going back to Jack Brown's, yeah.
Jack Brown. Shout out.
I'm hungry. That's the mood I'm in. maybe not hangry, but I'm hungry.
You're hungry? Yeah. Well, let's wrap this sucker up.
I think the Broncos are hungry for a win. Two consecutive road wins in back-to-back weeks. I believe you have to go back to the opening of the 2021 season when the Broncos started that year with wins at the Giants and at Jacksonville in order. By the way, they went back to Denver in between those games. For the last time, the Broncos got consecutive road wins back-to-back weeks on the road.
Well, let's wrap up this puppy.
I said a lot road wins, consecutive road wins on the road. That's stuff.
Help us out on YouTube, Mace. How do people do that?
Like,
comment,
share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell
so that you never miss a vid. He's Andrew Mason. Follow him on all the socials at Mace Denver. I'm at Cecil Lammey saying OBT's BFD. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. And as always, stay frosty.